it is a shock when you find out who's the instigator of all your problems. Yeah, that's it. You. First person present tense experience. Can't get away from it. And like I said, even in death, nothing transforming in death. So you still get another shot at doing it all over again. Did you like it the first time? Oh, then you gotta change your mind. You're told, change your mind, change your will. Seems simple enough. You could, well, why don't you just try it? Doesn't cost anything to try. You don't have to go in. We don't have to pay anybody. Just change your mind, change your will. See, you really don't need anything. You understand? It's all right where you are. It's you who has to recognize it. St. Paul told you, do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? In you? That's what he said. Do you believe him? Speak.
You brought up a lot of good points. You were speaking earlier about God, and you spoke and clarified it. They got to understand that God, not some God out there, but God within is doing it as them.
And because of that, you needn't be concerned about anything at all. If you turn it over to God, he can make it a success very simply. Whereas you'll struggle with the negatives to do it.
Yeah.
You're on all the time.
Only God.
Oh, well, I hope someone took it serious. Because I sincerely meant it exactly. And all I can tell you is you have to test it first person. I can keep repeating and repeating the message over and over and over because that's how some people get excited about a certain idea and start out on their own to think feelingly about what's lovely in a good report. But you have to be consistent. You have to be persistent because, you see, the ongoing drama is absolutely persistent, consistent, and on you at every turn, from every angle, from completely. And as a matter of fact, if someone was Italian in Scripture, you wouldn't even exist. They couldn't get to the end of the things you belong to and are part of, and that. You wouldn't even exist. And you really wouldn't if God wasn't with you. He is you. He said, I am you. Now, here, first person. All the children, God's, every one of them. But they have to find out for themselves. And I tell them, you've got to find out for yourself. It's what you experience that you know. If you don't experience it, it's all theory. We got enough theories. We got theory. We got theory to cover everything. Cover everything. And we spend a lot of time on. The other night, I was building something, and I thought, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Well, I mean, yeah, I can do that. I can get this and get that and put it together and do that. But and this would be a better way than I did it before. But that's yeah. But does it really add purpose to your life. See, if what you're thinking feelingly about isn't adding something positive to your life, drop it. That's all you drop it. You turn to me, I'll turn to you, God says. What else would you want? I can't think of anything that you do you?
We think that we want, but what we want is him.
Yeah. And he's right here and you can't see him. Because he's a thought. But it's a real thought. He's all thoughts. He uses all words. But so do you.
Yeah.
And you're creating your world with them. So I choose them wisely. When you say that'd be a good idea.
I agree.
Yeah. I still like the idea of pressing on that idea that you can't think two thoughts at the same time. So that gives you a safety valve. If you said something and you go, no, I don't want that, and you immediately change it. See, only just a few seconds you can change it, but you have to be aware to do so. And that's what we're talking about, is being aware. You're aware enough to make it through the day, okay? And Jesus does tell you that today holds enough problems for on its own. You don't need tracing off down the road yet. But it just comes down to your attitudes. I mean, everything you're involved in all comes down to your attitudes about it. Whether it helps you or denies you. But remember, too, we're told that all denial is self-denial. So God's not placing any denial on you or anything, because you're the one given to choose. And today's the day. And why today? Well, it's always today. That's the reason why. But you have to choose it. And that's what you're doing. You're experiencing what we're telling you is your rite of passage into new life. That's all you're thinking about. How else could he set you free than to give you absolute say? And your say is absolute say. And I mean, you can believe that. I mean, all you have to do is just look backwards, just a little ways to find out all the things that you were thinking about that actually happened. You can say, well, I didn't have anything to do with that. Yeah, but see, that's just it. You did. See, you don't even know that you're setting yourself up 90% of the time. You understand? If you're not thinking positively about any subject, you're setting yourself up for a negative run. And you'll do the run. Just like a lion was chasing you through the woods. That's how you'll do the run. Because it's all real. You understand? But it's virtual reality, not reality. That's what you're learning to impress yourself with, is reality. And you're the only reality in your world. Making a future. How? I don't know. What are you claiming? My this and my that. You gotta watch that. I hear people doing that, and it's like, no, really. I mean, come on. I mean, and they're all laughing about it, but they don't realize they're creating a world that they have no choice about. I mean, they have a choice, but they have no idea what they're leading themselves into. And then once you're in it, then you start feeding that, and then that'll just dissolve you. How are we doing?
We're doing good. So in saying that, because you started off with a very good point, people not just being hearers of what it is that we're talking about, but being doers. So what would you say to the listener as we're winding down?
About doing,
Yeah,
about being.
exactly.
What are you doing? What are you being? That's what you're experiencing. It's that simple. Keep it simple. I was told, keep it simple, stupid. And actually, it took me a couple of years to get that together. You understand? Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was out of it. Totally out of it. See, that's the reason why I was totally out of connection. But when I got a connection, the whole world opened up for me. And that's why I'm here to tell you that the same thing can happen to you just as easily as anyone in the whole world. Because God's no respecter of persons. In other words, he's not doing me any favors or you any favors. No, everybody gets the same as you think you are, and it's settled right there. So you're in charge. If you can choose what you think and feel, then you're in charge. If you can't, if you're out of tune with it, well, then it's whatever happens, happens. And you're saying, why me, why this, why now? Well, you weren't paying attention to what you were talking to yourself about. It's that simple. Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I was told. But even that like I said, took me a couple of years to get that straight. But but you see, knowing where I was at to where I got to, it's very simple. I made it difficult all along. I forget it, and that's why God left you or remembered so, because he knew you forget it, and you forget it, and you forget it, and that can go on and on and on. And I can tell you, I've been there. And I screwed that one up too.
Yeah,
Yeah, even knowing it's still a struggle to keep straight what you're thinking and feeling, but you can. I know it takes practice. I know it takes discipline. I understand that. And that was a very, very hard thing for me to do, was to be still. And I guess you can tell by the talks. I'm always saying, well, why did you, be still and know that I'm God. See, all the questions, in private interview, people ask me questions that, how could they not even imagine that I hear these same problems over and over and over and over, and the answer is always the same. Everybody, they say, well, I don't know how to do that. I know you don't, because you haven't done it. But if you do it, you'll know how to do it. It's as simple as that. It's like you don't just hop on a bicycle and start driving. You all over the place. But after a little while, you kind of smooth it out, and after a while, you just run down, go down the street, just not even using the handlebars. See,
yeah, that's true.
but it does take a
Practice.
huh?
It's true.
Yeah, and it just takes a little practice. That's all. Be still and know that I'm God. Well, what else have you got to do that's more important than that? See, I had to ask myself that a lot of times. I was watching someone say, what is this? What do I get out of it? Nothing. But if I turn to God, I get everything. What really is a choice? You see, we make all kinds of excuses, I know, and I have had a whole I had a whole list of them. Excuses, justifications, reasons, and most of them are man-mind reasoning, which that doesn't even count because they have no idea what's really waiting for them. Well, a future that they're talking to themselves about right now, but I mean, sooner or later they'll figure that it's something they got to do themselves. See, everybody's looking for somebody else to do for them. That's all the churches are there for. They're going to do for you what you can only do for yourself. Don't make no sense at all. You hear the message, right over. And I heard the message, right over, and right over. Depending on which side I was on, negative or positive. But hey, you're always thinking ahead of your evidence. So if you think this, and this, you get that. If you change and think this, and that, you get that. It's as simple as that. If you keep it simple, you'll remember it. If you remember it, hey, you might even do it. And that's what the whole thing is. Just give it a whirl. You're told, I'm here, I'm waiting. What do you want? And if you don't know, then shut up and think about it.
I had a half a dozen of Neville's tapes, and I listened to them at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set, and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.